Welcome to this video on functions and methods. Functions and methods are fundamental concepts in programming that help you write efficient and organized code. They allow you to create reusable blocks of code that perform specific tasks. Instead of writing the same code over and over again, you can write it once and use it many times throughout your program. This makes your code cleaner, easier to maintain, and more professional. Let's explore how functions and methods work and why they are so important in programming. Let's start by understanding the difference between functions and methods. A function is a block of code that performs a specific task and can be reused throughout your program. You can call a function from anywhere in your code whenever you need it. A method, on the other hand, is a function that belongs to an object or class. Methods are functions that operate on the data inside that object. The main difference is that methods are tied to objects, while functions are more standalone. Both allow you to write cleaner, more organized code by breaking down complex tasks into smaller, manageable pieces. Let's look at a simple function example. Here we have a function called add that takes two parameters, num1 and num2. The function adds these two numbers together and returns the result. When we call the function add with the values 5 and 3, the function executes and returns 8, which gets stored in a variable called result. This is reusable across your entire program. You can call this function as many times as you need with different numbers, and it will always perform the same task, adding two numbers together. Now let's understand parameters and arguments, as they are crucial for functions. Parameters are placeholders or variable names inside the function definition. Arguments are the actual values you pass when calling the function. In this example, the function greet has two parameters, name and age. These are like empty boxes waiting to be filled. When we call greet with Alice and 25, those values are the arguments. The function then uses these values to do its work. You can call the same function multiple times with different arguments, making functions very flexible and powerful. Functions often return values, which means they send data back to the part of your code that called them. In this example, the multiply function takes two parameters, multiplies them, and returns the result. When we call multiply with 4 and 5, the function calculates 8 multiplied by 5, which is 20. This result is returned and stored in a variable called result. Then we can print it or use it in other calculations. Return values allow functions to produce output, which is essential for building complex programs where different parts need to communicate with each other. Different functions can return different types of data. On the left, we see a function that returns an integer. The calculate function takes a number, multiplies it by 2, and returns a numeric result of 10. On the right, we have a function with no return type, called void. The print message function prints something but doesn't return any value. Void functions are useful when you just want to perform an action without needing to send data back. Understanding return types helps you know what kind of data a function will provide when you call it. Functions can return many different types of data. On the left, we have a function that returns a string. The getName function returns the text Alice. On the right, we have a function that returns a Boolean value, which means it returns either true or false. The isEven function checks if a number is even and returns true if it is, or false if it isn't. These different return types make functions very flexible. You can create functions that return numbers, text, true or false values, or even more complex data structures depending on what your program needs. Functions provide numerous benefits for your programming. First, code reusability means you write something once and use it many times. Code organization helps keep your program structured and easy to navigate. Easier debugging means when something goes wrong, you know exactly where to look since your code is organized into logical pieces. Readability makes your code easier for others to understand and for you to understand later. Performance can improve because functions help the computer use resources more efficiently. And maintainability means it's easier to update or fix your code when it's organized into functions. These benefits make functions essential for writing good programs.
If you like this video, Hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.